Hello students, welcome to the second session for 9th standard science dealing with the chapter the diversity in case of the living organisms. Well, up till now we have discussed very well about the classification, the basis of classification, classification and the evolution and the hierarchy of the classification. Well, today our main focus of attention is on the Plantae group, that is the plants and its various classifications. Now, whenever we classify the plants, there are three bases with which they are being classified. The first basis is whether the plant body has well differentiated regions, that is the root, stems and the leaves. The second basis of classification is whether they have the conducting tissues for the transport of various substances, that is the xylem and the phloem. And the third level of classification is whether the plant they produce seeds or not, and if at all they produce seeds, whether the seeds are basically covered or not. So these are the three major levels of the classification. Now let us start the plant classification with the first major group, that is the Thallophyta. Now if we divide the word Thallophyta, thallo and the phyta. Phyta means the plants and here the thallus. Thallus means the structure that is not having any sort of root, stem or leaf. So in short, we will not be able to differentiate between the root, stems and the leaves. Well, they are predominantly algae in nature and they are mostly maximum in aquatic regions. Furthermore, the second major group is the Bryophyta. Now, these bryophytes are said to be the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Amphibians means those who are found in both the land as well as in the water. So therefore, they are said to be the amphibians of the plant kingdoms. Here, the roots are not properly seen, but small differentiation in relation to the stems and the leaves will be able to observe it out. So instead of the true roots, they have false roots for the absorption of the water and various minerals from the surface of the water or from the surface of the earth. For the next major group is the Pteridophyta. Now here we will be able to observe the complete differentiation in relation to the roots, the stems and the leaves. Well, furthermore, here we will be able to observe the conducting tissues, that is the tissues for the transport of the water and various minerals, that is the xylem and the phloem. So well, up till now we have discussed very well the Thallophyta, the Bryophyta and the Pteridophyta. So these three major groups, they come under the category of the cryptogams. Now what are these cryptogams? So basically cryptogams are the group of the plants where the seeds are not produced. So they do not produce seeds. So they have the naked embryo. Embryo is not having any sort of covering, known as the spores. Furthermore, they are said to be the cryptogams, that is the hidden reproductive organs, basically known as the inconspicuous. So they have hidden reproductive organs. Furthermore, focusing on the next major groups after the cryptogams is the phanerogams. Phanerogams means the organisms who produce the seeds and the reproductive organs, they have some sort of the covering and the seeds are basically present. The phanerogams are further classified into the gymnosperms and the angiosperms. If we dissect the word gymnosperms, the gymno and the sperm. Gymno means the naked and sperma means the seeds. So the seeds are not having any sort of the covering. Furthermore, they are perennial and they are evergreen throughout the entire year. Focusing on the next one, that is the angiosperms. Now these angiosperms, they have the seeds with some sort of typical covering and the seeds are mainly present inside the fruit, that is the seed leaves, which we call it as the cotyledons. So on the basis of the cotyledons, that is the stored food, there are two basic types, the monocotyledons and the dicotyledons. Just as for example, if we divide the seed into the two equal parts, and such seed is said to be the dicotyledon. As for example, in case of the bean seeds, we can easily divide the seed into the two equal parts, so therefore it is said to be the dicotyledons. And if we have just a partition but we cannot divide the seed into the two equal parts, so it is said to be the monocotyledons. Mono means one. So whatever we have studied in case of the plants and the plant classification, let us observe it and understand in much detail with the help of a small animation. Well, today our main focus of attention is on the plant kingdom. Well, plants are found in various forms on the surface of the earth, and we also observe a lot of plants in our day-to-day life. But it is very sad that a lot of plants are cut in our day-to-day life also by various institutes and organizations in order to build the huge apartments and the malls also. So now let us focus on the plant kingdom. The plant kingdom is basically categorized into the two subkingdoms, the cryptogams and the phanerogams. The cryptogams are categorized into the classes like the Thallophyta, Bryophyta, then the Pteridophyta, while the other ones is divided into the gymnosperms and the angiosperms. Well, by the end of this lesson, we'll be able to classify the plants and its various sub-classifications also. So, focusing on the crux of the chapter. Now, this plant kingdom has a lot of variations because plants themselves have a lot of variations in the form of roots, stems, leaves, flowers and the fruits. These are eukaryotic in nature and they have the chlorophyll content to make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. And this photosynthesis, it allows the plants to absorb the carbon dioxide and give out the oxygen content with the production of glucose, that is C6H12O6. The plant tissues are also found at various places in the regions of the plant which are multicellular with their typical cell walls. So basically the plants are categorized into the cryptogams and the phanerogams with their further subdivisions like the Thallophyta, Bryophyta, the Pteridophyta and the gymnosperms and the angiosperms. The further classification and the study of all these kingdoms and the classes in much detail will help us to analyze plants in much detail. So there are basic criteria for the classification of these plants. First, whether the plant body has root, stems and the leaves or not. That is the first criteria. The second criteria is whether it is able to have the conducting tissues, that is the xylem or the phloem or not. Further, there are many more criteria also. Then it has the ability to bear the seeds or not, and if the seeds are there, they are enclosed or not. Further, let us go into much detail. Well, the plant kingdom is divided into the cryptogams and the phanerogams. These cryptogams are basically characterized by the hidden reproductive organs and no flowers or seeds are mainly there. With the hidden reproductive organs and no flowers or the seeds in case of the cryptogams. The opposite characters are found in case of the phanerogams. So these cryptogams are basically categorized into the Thallophyta, Bryophyta and the Pteridophyta. Phyta means plants. Focusing into the crux of all these structures. that is the thallophyta. If you observe the structure of a typical thallophyta, thallo means the thallus. They do not have any sort of structures like the root, stems or the leaves. As in case of the algae, we are not able to distinguish that what are roots, what are leaves and what are the stem like structures. Various typical examples which we see in our day-to-day life, especially which are highly microscopic in nature. Some are visible, some are not visible to us. They are simple plants with no well differentiated body design and they are mostly aquatic in nature. That is the Chlamydomonas, Spirogyra, Eulothrix, the Cladophora and the Chara. So these are the various examples in case of the thallophyta. These are mainly found at the river basins, wherever the accumulation of water is there. Further, the bryophytes, they are said to be the amphibians of the plant kingdom. They are found in both the land as well as in the water. That is, the mosses on the surface of the rocks, they are nothing but the bryophytes. They are also found on the surface of the walls, on the surface of the barks also. Looking into it, these bryophytes, they do not have specialized roots, but they are differentiated into the stems and the leaves. So the stems and the leaves will be able to observe, but no specified roots are there. Furthermore, the mosses and the funarias are the typical examples of it. So they require both the aquatic and the terrestrial conditions for the completion of their life cycle, and they do not have the true roots and the leaves up to a certain extent or the specialized vascular tissues for the transportation of the nutrients. So the xylem and the phloem are not very well developed. So it is difficult for them to transport the water. So they have specialized systems, that is by the process of diffusion, they easily absorb the materials from the surface of the soil. Rixia, Mercantia, these are the typical examples of it. Further is the pteridophytes. Now these pteridophytes, they have absolutely all the characteristics of a typical plant. That is the roots, the stems and the leaves. Here the clear-cut differentiation is there in relation to the roots, the stems and the leaves. They do not have the characteristics of the thallophytes or the bryophytes. And they are said to be the developed groups in case of the cryptogams. Basically, as it is having the root, the stems and the leaves. The horsetails, the Marsilia, these are the typical examples of it. Here we can see very well the differentiation of the root, the stems and the leaves. Though a small plant is there, the aquatic plants are there. Some of them are aquatic and some of them are found on the surface of the earth also. So a clear-cut difference is there in relation to the roots, the stems and the leaves also. Well, going into the crux of it, they have well differentiated plant body, vascular tissues for the conduction. So the xylem and the phloems are very well developed. They have the naked embryo in the form of spores which are there. Moving on to the phanerogams. So these are fruit producing structures. The plants here, they have seeds and the seeds are present inside the typical fruits. So they have developed seeds and well formed stems, roots and the leaves. They have the typical embryo which is having the radicle from where the root system arises and the cotyledons which are the stored food particles. Furthermore, these phanerogams are categorized into the gymnosperms and the angiosperms. Focusing on the gymnosperms, here we'll be able to observe the root, the stems and the leaves in a very well defined conditions. But if we categorize the word gymno and sperma, gymno means the naked and sperma means the seeds. So the seeds are naked, they do not have any sort of covering, like the evergreen pines which are there. And the cycas, the coniferous plants which are found on the surface of the earth. So they bear naked seeds and are usually perennial and woody. So they almost grow throughout the entire year. So gymno means the naked and sperma means the seed. So they have the naked seeds. Moving on into the angiosperm plants. Here the seeds are there. So the seeds have some sort of the covering. So they are highly evolved plants, bear flowers and fruits with the typical seeds. They are of the highest order in case of the plant kingdom. And whatever the characteristics of the plants, right from the roots, the stems, the leaves, the flowers and the fruits is required, all the characteristics are present in case of the angiosperms. These angiosperms are further categorized into the monocotyledons and the dicotyledons. If a seed is divided equally into two parts, it is said to be the dicotyledon. Di means two and the cotyledon means the stored food. And if it is there in only one part, means it is difficult for us to divide into two equal parts, it is said to be the monocotyledons. So cotyledons basically means the stored food particles. So the angiosperms are categorized into the monocots and the dicots. Monocots have a single cotyledon, that is the stored food, and the dicots have the two cotyledons. So let us go into the examples of the monocots and the dicots. Well, these are the typical examples of the monocots and the dicots which you might have seen in your day-to-day life also. The corn seeds, that is the monocots, and the bean seeds in case of the dicots. We can easily divide the bean seeds from the center into the two equal parts. If you observe the root system also, the differentiation is there in case of the root system. The types of the leaves which are produced, so a lot of differences are there in relation to the type of the leaves also. The way with which they grow, there also a lot of differences are there. The root system and the pattern of the leaves also. Here you can see how it is growing and the differences which are there. So that was about the plants and its various classifications. Well, in the next class we shall discuss in much detail about the animals and the animal classification. Thank you very much.